right, let's do this. Let's bring this down here a little bit. Hopefully, everyone's doing well today at school or at home. If we're still in school, who knows? Who knows, right? But I do know we can read, and hopefully, we had a discussion about what happened the day before. There was a little, I don't know if it's a confrontation. There was a meeting between Sawyer and Jules in the parking lot, and Rowan was there. Uh, but it seems like, he didn't tell anybody, but he is thinking that she might be a little bit, she might have some issues. All right, so let's start reading right there where the stuff is highlighted. Let's do it. Jesus, Jules. His arm shoots out and he pushes the door shut. I said, I'm sorry. And holy crap, I don't really know what to say about all that in the middle there. I didn't know you ever thought about that anymore. He blinks his long, stupid lashes at me. But I promise, I didn't tell anybody you're insane. He steps back and straightens his jacket collar. I figured it was, I don't know, just weird. Angry tears burn at the corner of my eyes, and I will them with all my might not to fall. I glance through the window at Rowan, who's sitting up, looking like she's ready to jump out of the vehicle and attack. I shake my head at her, trying to reassure her with a shaky smile. Okay, fine, is all I can think of to say. He thinks I'm weird. I need to go, and I don't know what to say about the rest. Yeah, you said that. I reach for the door handle again. So, are you? He shoves his dangly keys into his coat pocket suddenly and coughs. All right, so a little inference there. I mean, the fact that he's shoving his keys into his pocket, is telling us that he's not ready to leave yet. He's thinking about sticking around for a little longer, possibly. I look at him. Am I what? His face is red and he can't look at me. Never mind. I'm an idiot. See you. He turns to go. And then I get it. Am I insane? Is that what you mean? Forget it, Jules. It was a stupid thing to say. He says over his shoulder and starts walking. Oh my God. He walks faster to his car. And I stand here like a total loser watching him go. I don't blame him. He doesn't believe me. I never expected him to believe me. And he's obviously right in thinking that. So even she is questioning the fact of her sanity. From that moment, right here, I am bombarded with the vision once again. My peace didn't last even 24 hours. I drive home, and every stop sign, every store window, and every billboard are covered in the scene of the crash. Rowan tries to find out what's going on, but I drive in stony silence. Eventually, she's smart enough to shut up. When we pull in the alley where we parked the beast, Trey is sitting there, standing there, waiting where he always is, top of the next column, so we can keep up our all going to school in the giant truck of balls ruse. Ruse is a lie, ruse. I turn off the engine and look hard at Rowan. Don't you ever tell mom and dad that I was anywhere near Sawyer Ignati, you hear me? Her eyes widen and she shrinks away from me. Okay, gosh, I never know what's happening around here. I mean it. Okay, she says again. Good. The three of us get out of the truck and walk in the back door where Tony is whistling. Mom is adding fresh herbs to a giant pot of sauce, and Dad is nowhere to be found. Chapter 19. What? That's the way a chapter ends? Come on. There's no cliffhanger there or anything. All afternoon and evening, the vision beats me over the head every chance they get, and it's exhausting. It's clear to me now that telling Sawyer was a good thing, but it wasn't enough. Apparently, I have to get him to actually believe me too, and I'm guessing I have to get him to do something about it, which will be absolutely impossible. This is an evil game that is impossible to win. And the thing is, that helpless, empty thing that makes me want to curl up in the corner and bawl my eyes out, top of the next column, is that I know I can't make it happen. Hey, just a quick ball right there. Cry, ball. It's spelled differently from the ball that you kick, the soccer ball, the basketball. There's no way I can convince Sawyer or anybody that this crash will take place and that 9 people, including him, are going to die. And I think part of it is because I don't quite believe it myself. But if I don't believe this vision is destined to happen, then I have to believe I'm crazy. So she has two choices, definitely internal conflict here. She is either completely crazy or this vision is actually going to happen. This feels so much bigger than me, bigger than anything I can do, and I'm swallowed by it. Just thinking about facing Sawyer again, knowing he won't ever believe me, knowing if he mentions my weirdness to anyone, it will ruin any reputation I have left, knowing that his family could so easily do something drastic that will make my father crack, just like my grandfather did, and knowing we could lose everything scares the hell out of me. I don't know what to do. And for the first time, I think about real depression, the disease, and what it must feel like. I mean, my grandfather killed himself. He had a wife and kids and grandkids and a business that he loved. And he just ended it all. Those good things in his life weren't enough for him. They couldn't stop his disease. To him, things seemed to crumble when Fortuno Agati flourished. Only they didn't fall apart. They just stayed the same. And I guess that felt like failure to my grandfather. His insides, his brain couldn't take it. I heard my Aunt Mary say once that my grandfather was a selfish person, hurting people like that, top of the next column. And I thought she was right. I've thought that about my dad too, lots of times, but I don't know about that anymore. Everything about this, about mental illness, is so complicated. I just don't know. The rest of the week, I'm a zombie. I do what I need to do to get through the day, talk if I have to, get my homework done, not really caring if I do it right, seeing crash after crash after crash, like I'm stuck in 1 minute that keeps repeating. On slow nights, I send Rowan upstairs and work alone, keeping my mind occupied as best I can because I don't want to think about anything. I try to ignore the vision, like I ignored a bug splat on the windshield, and I failed. It buzzes between my ears, crawls under my skin, and coats the inside of my eyelids. The days blur together, and soon it's another weekend. I ignore Trey's quizzical glances and Rowan's concerned looks and questions. I know I need to do something. Maybe my grandfather knew too, but he couldn't. My father can't, and I can't. So here, maybe I'll just make myself a little bigger. Good place. I mean, we've read quite a bit. Good place for us to pause. If anybody has any questions, answers, concerns about anything. But this connection between the grandfather, the father, and her, she seems to be making it. And it's quite convincing. As others have said, maybe they also have these visions or something. Who knows? But we will find out. But who knows at this point? All right, let's make it bigger and go to the next one. All right, we're right after these 3 stars. The rest of the week, I'm a zombie. We already read that, didn't we? Yeah, we already read that. Oh, over here. There you go. The page jumped. These 3 stars. One morning, I wake up to Rowan's alarm and stare at the wall, and it all becomes real. 9 real human people with families, friends, and jobs to do will all die, and I am helpless, and I will never be the same again. And it doesn't matter that I actually told Sawyer what to expect, because if he doesn't believe me, I'll still feel like it's my fault. The weight of this responsibility is so heavy, so crushing, I can't move. I'm sick, I tell Rowan when she stumbles out of her bed. Tell Trey I need you to go to school today. What's wrong? It's just my eyes and moan. Everything. You need me to get Mom? No, don't wake her up. I'm okay, just sick. I hear Rowan hesitating at the door. I'll leave her a note to call in school for you. Thanks, I say. She closed the door. Trey comes in a few minutes later. Hey, he whispers. I pretend to be asleep. There's a rattle of keys sliding off my dresser, and then he's gone. So of course he's got to drive the meatball truck, right? She might not get paid that day. I don't know. Later, when Mom peeks her head in, I ignore her too. Soon I hear Dad lumbering down the hallway, which means he actually got out of bed today. I've taken his sickness from him. What a thing to pass down to the next generation. All day, the wall is my only friend. If I don't look at the window, it's a day with few visions. Still, the scene rolls through my brain regularly, and I can't make it go away. The more I try, the more often the vision appears. I don't want to tell anyone, not a soul, but I admit to myself that I will need a doctor soon. And on the off chance, top of the next column, that I'm not already insane, this vision will push me there. I think about what it'll be like in a hospital for people like that, people like me, I guess I should say. A hot tear slides from the corner of my eye into my hair. The thought of a crazy roommate scares me, like a lot. The thought of having to take drugs that make me feel weird, of strange doctors asking me questions about the vision, of my mom and her overly cheerful face coming by to see me and pretending everything's just fine. I can't take it. I really can't. Back when I was in the first grade, when my father went crazy with the hoarding and the depression, he was in the hospital for a few days. I visited him, only once though. I can still remember the smell of that place. His roommate was a scary man with white hair and red splotched face. His eyes bulged, and the scariest thing to me was that he didn't have any teeth. He walked up and down the hallway, muttering to himself, and I was so afraid of his gummy maw coming after me that I slammed the door to my dad's room when he was coming in and screamed when my mom tried to take me out of there, past him. Trey was with us, Aunt Mary too. We must have closed the restaurant. I don't remember. Doesn't really matter. I wonder what goes through my father's mind every day. If it's anything like this, well, I guess I feel sorry for him. Around 2 in the afternoon, I hear a soft knock on the door. I want to ignore it, but for some reason I say, "Come in." It's my father. I turn over in bed, hoping I look as sick on the outside as I feel on the inside. "Hi," I say. He looks scruffy and tired, but he's wearing a chef jacket. He puts a plate of toast, complete with parsley garnish, on my bedside table, sets a glass of clear carbonated water next to it. "Thought you might be getting hungry," he says. His normally booming voice softened. "Did I wake you up?" I shake my head and sit up. "Thanks." He puts the back of his hand to my forehead, like Mom always does, and holds it there for a few seconds. He pulls it away and says nothing. "It's more of a stomach thing," I say. He nods, and we both know I'm lying. "Well," he says. He fidgets with his hands, his big thumbs bumbling around each other. And I realize I hardly even know him at all. I lived with this man for almost 17 years, and all I know about him is that he's an embarrassment to me. Kind of leaves a gigantic hole in my heart. I wonder what he thinks about. If he ever thinks about killing himself. He turns to go, and I almost call out after him to wait. I almost whisper, "Do you ever see visions?" But I don't say anything. The reason I don't is that even if his answer is no, I can guess that he is, out of anyone in the world, will know what I'm asking because I must be experiencing them, which would lead to my parents putting me someplace else. And right now, today, partly cloudy February day just outside of Chicago, I cannot risk leaving this bed for anything. Not for any doctor, not for any vision, not for any boy. All right, looks like another chapter 20. Chapter 20. All right, I don't know. Chapter 19 wasn't exactly my favorite, but it does show us in what kind of like despair she's in. I mean, she's at a really low point. If she can't even get out of bed, I mean, that does sound like real depression to me. I'm not a doctor or anything, but sounds like real depression. Maybe we'll see that relationship develop with the dad. You know, he did make an effort to come in. Maybe she should have said something. I mean, he's the parent. Maybe he should have said something. All right, but it does at least seem like he is concerned. Let's see, how long is chapter 20? Maybe we can read a couple pages. Oh, yeah. Let's read a couple pages and we'll end pretty soon. We're about what, 15 minutes in? All right. A couple pages here and then we'll be done. Oof. All right. I don't know about that next page there, reading that. Maybe that'll be something you have to read on your own. How about that? Because I might feel a little weird reading it. 20. When Trey sneaks up after the dinner rush around 9, he doesn't ask for permission to come in. He sits on the bed and looks at me. So, what are you sick of? No, notice he didn't say what's making you sick. What are you sick of? Sick of life, maybe she's thinking. Sick of that vision. I smirk. You. He rolls his eyes. Are you going to live or what? And that question, that joke, makes me hesitate. It burns through me. Am I? I look up at him, and my chest feels so much fear it squeezes my heart. Top of the next column. Makes it throb faster and faster. It's not a difficult question, he says with a smile, but I can see him searching me, trying to get inside my brain. He's been giving me a lot of looks like that lately. He knows me too well. Yes, I decide, thinking of body bags in the snow. I'll live. And the author, I think, could have put like this in italics. So you would have to say, like, I'll live, meaning like maybe some other people might not, but it's just, I'll live. He rests his elbows on his knees, thumbs on his forehead, holding it up, massaging it maybe. He closes his eyes like he needs to think. And then he takes an audible breath and says, I'm just going to say this. You're not pregnant, are you? I almost laugh. And then my eyes get wide because he's not laughing. No, of course not. Is that what dad thinks? Yeah. All right. That's a good place for us to stop. And they are going to talk about, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much of that I read. I shouldn't be embarrassed by it, but I am a little bit embarrassed by it. But they are going to talk about her history or her lack of history. All right. That's enough for today. We will move into probably essay stuff.